Hey guys, welcome to our annual year-end show. And Nathan, we've got a hell of a year-end show because it's been a hell of a year. We're going to talk about not only the top 10 best cars that we drove this year, but the 5 that we're looking forward to driving in 2018. You know, I look at this list and it is astounding the number of really cool cars that were introduced this year. You know, Nathan, some channels like read the hate comments, but I like to focus on the positive, not the negative.
I do too. If I looked at the negative, I'd probably be hanging myself in the closet.
But having said that, at the end of this list, we are gonna share with you the one car that didn't meet our expectations.
Yes, that's right.
So let's get started right away. At number 10 is, of course, the Dodge Demon. And you may be wondering, why is it number 10? The reason is they're only building 3,000 of these, so it's really not a car that everybody can buy, but man, what a car.
Yeah, we're talking about one of the most powerful vehicles ever produced in the United States. That's not a truck.
Yeah, 840 horsepower, a quarter-mile time in the 9.65 bracket, which is amazing, and all that under around $100,000.
Yeah, and some people would call it a bargain. It's funny because I think there's a mixed batch here. Some people really think it's a bargain. Some people absolutely hate it.
It's just something that would have been unimaginable just, I think, even 10 years ago. And it's one of those cars, when you actually get it to engage, even with those big, slicks, it's still hard to engage. Your face goes like this. All right, Nathan, what's number 9?
Number 9 isn't quite as amazing as number 10 was. It's the Volkswagen Atlas. Now look, I know a lot of you are going, what's the big deal? It's an Atlas. It can hold 7 people or 8 people or whatever. There's more to it than that.
I agree.
think that this is a vehicle that really does represent what Volkswagen can do in the United States. This vehicle feels like it's at the top of its game, and if you get the one that's fully loaded, it really is.
Yeah, and Volkswagen, think about this. Volkswagen has been here longer than Honda, Toyota, any of the Japanese manufacturers, and yet they still sometimes don't seem to get America, at least in terms of their popularity. If you look at their sales, right? They're still well below the Japanese. And finally, they came up with a car that like Americans want, right? A double XL, big ass American car built in Chattanooga.
Yep.
That is comfortable, easy to use, and can truck your family to school or church or work, and at the same time can be something that you feel good about driving. All right, number 8 has to be the Volvo V90 Cross Country. And the reason for that is because it is just drop dead sexy, dude. Oh my God, is that a sexy wagon.
Volvo is killing it when it comes to design. And this is a vehicle that, once again, can actually go off the beaten path. It just does everything well.
Yeah, and it did go up Goldmine Hill.
It almost made it, but there was, well, you'll see.
Yeah, just not enough breakover.
But, irregardless of the fact, that it made it or not up Goldmine Hill, I loved it because it is kind of the best of what a car can be, right? It utilitarian.
Yeah.
It is sexy.
Oh yeah.
It is safe.
Yep.
It is comfortable.
It's fast.
It is off-road worthy.
Yeah.
All right, Nathan, number 7 is the Mazda CX-5.
Mazda is another company, kind of like Volvo, that's just killing it with exterior design. Every single one of their vehicles are good looking in my book, but more importantly, they're doing engineering that matches the look of their vehicles. So the CX-5 looks quick. It is quick. It's one of the best handling crossovers in its class.
Yeah, and it's one of those vehicles that punches above its weight class in terms of the quality and the interior value that you get for your money, right? You sit in that thing and you feel like you should be in a much more premium vehicle, like a Lexus.
Like a Lexus, yeah.
Exactly. It just feels that expensive. And on the outside, it's also very sexy, and yet on the inside, it's got a lot of room. It's got that magic Japanese quality of being bigger on the inside than on the outside. It's a car that is, let's face it, a car that's going to get leased. It's a car that's going to get used as a work day.
Yep.
It's a soccer mom car.
Yep.
But yet at the same time, it drives well, it looks fantastic, and inside you feel like $1 million.
Yep.
All right, number 6 is a vehicle that...
Yeah, it's bonkers.
Yeah, and it's, of course, the Jeep Trackhawk. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds all day long. Remember, we couldn't get it to slow down. We had like 14 of us in there and still did 3.5 seconds.
It was ridiculous. And the thing is that this vehicle has all-wheel drive, and it's a really good all-wheel drive system, so you get maximum traction, and you just shoot out of the barrel like a bat out of hell.
Now, people have been putting up drag races of like Hellcats versus Trackhawks, and it's hilarious to see just how much faster the Trackhawk launches than a Hellcat.
Yeah, well, one thing you see with the Trackhawk is no smoke coming out of the rear because, well, that's what happens with all the Hellcats. There's just a traction issue.
It's a little expensive, and I did a video where I compared it to the Hellcat, and I got to drive both back to back, and you know what? I thought that the Trackhawk would be something I'd really lust after, but it's just a little too tame on the outside, just for my taste, right? You want a car with that much power to like snort fire and breathe bullets, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't quite do that. It's got the little supercharged badge on the side, and I want it to be a little bit crazier.
Your underwear is too tight. I think it's perfect the way it is. But we should move on to the next one, which is the Ford Mustang. Now, obviously, we're going to choose the Mustang, right? I mean, it's a great car, but it's changed recently.
Yeah, so what they did was they made it sound phenomenal. I think, you know, obviously they made the thing a little bit more reptilian. They changed the design. It's a mid-cycle refresh for 2018, so it's not like a whole new Mustang. But nevertheless, the one piece of tech that they did put in it that makes it super cool is the ability to change the exhaust note. And it goes from being, especially the GT, right?
Right.
Mellow to just being like crazy loud in a very American and powerful, almost monster truck sort of way. I mean, it's that loud. I was like scared. First time I floored it, I almost jumped out of my seat. But it's a car that is now certainly a bargain.
Yeah.
And it's a car that will wake up your neighborhood if you choose to push that little button. All right, let's jump to number 4. And this is a car that I got to drive. It's the Audi TT RS or the RS3.
Yeah.
Now, what makes both those vehicles special is the fact that they have a 5-cylinder turbo, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, the marketing of Audi says that it sounds like an angry V8, and I have to agree with them. It's one time when like marketing and reality come hand in hand and they actually work together. That's one of those cars that you should buy now and hold on to because they're not going to sell a lot of them. It's just, it's just a 2-seater. It's not very practical, but once you're behind the wheel and you're driving it, you feel like you're driving a much faster car. And you are. It's crazy fast, crazy nimble, crazy technologically advanced. Obviously you got Quattro. Just a really great car, and it's a car that I would invest in if I had that much money. And they're not cheap. They're like $60,000 to $70,000.
Yeah, I wouldn't invest. I'd drive it like I stole it, and then half the wheels falling off when I traded it in for something else.
All right, another one that kind of punches above its weight class is our number 3 car, and that's the Kia Stinger. I just got to drive that in California, and that's like a 3 Series competitor. It kind of
It seems bigger than that, though.
No, it's the same size.
Really?
Yeah. It kind of answers a question that no one asks. Do we need another 3 Series competitor?
I say yes.
Well, and Kia provided it. I mean, it's a car that from $30,000 to $50,000 is probably as sophisticated, as sexy, and as fast as the best of the BMWs, which is pretty crazy coming from Kia.
Twin turbocharged V6.
Yep.
Yeah. All-wheel drive or rear drive.
Yeah, exactly. So you can get no front-wheel drive.
That's awesome. And I haven't had a chance to drive it yet. I'm dying to do it because I like big rear drive vehicles, and it reminds me in terms of looks like the old Pontiac G8, if you guys remember that car, which unfortunately had to go bye-bye.
Will it sell? It was such a strong headwind blowing into the sedan world right now. I don't know, but it should. All right, our number 2 is one that I think neither of us fit into. But it's a hell of a car. It's the Honda Civic Type R. It only comes as a stick shift. It only comes as hatchback. It only comes with about every piece of boy racer kit imaginable.
It's like 10 wings.
Yes, and even those little what are they called? Little funnels in the back of the
vortex generators
that the Mitsubishi used to have. It has all kinds of aero. It's got a hood scoop that's functional, and it's $30,000 and $15,000 over sticker. Yeah, the only kind of chink in its armor is the exhaust note is way too mellow. It's too Honda, and of course the fact that if you want one, they're hard to get.
Not easy to get, and good luck getting one that's the color that you want, or good luck getting one that's the price you want, because I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, and I was really racking my brain as to why Honda didn't make that an all-wheel drive car, right? Because everything that competes against it, the Focus RS, the STI, the Golf R, really, those are all-wheel drive cars. And there's a reason, right? You put over 300 horsepower into the front wheels, you get torque steer, yet Honda has managed not to actually give you torque steer. It's crazy.
Yeah, they've managed it quite well.
Now, number one car actually isn't a car, is it? You just drove it yesterday.
That is correct. It is a Jeep, and it is the Wrangler JL. And I finally got to drive one.
And what'd you think?
That was great. Look, we're Jeep fans. We know it and you know it. But this has been an improvement in every conceivable place that they needed improvement.
Yeah, that's simply put, it's better off-road, it's better on-road, it's more comfortable, the interior is better, it's sexier from the outside, it's more fuel efficient. Everything you can think of, every metric you can think of that you measure a car by, it's that much better. And at the end of the day, it's also a lot more expensive, unfortunately. $2,500 to $3,000. I was doing the price configurator, dude. A base Jeep without two-door, without air conditioning on steel wheels, $27,000.
The prices are just difficult to swallow. Bottom line is that for those of you who want to wait for a Jeep that's affordable, you might want to wait for a used one. There's no way that these things are going to get any cheaper.
Or get a JK.
Or get a JK, and the JKs are great. They're still great vehicles, but this vehicle really is an improvement in every single way except for price.
So Nathan, as always, we like to do a bonus, and this year the bonus is the Kia Niro Hybrid. And the reason it's our bonus is because if you didn't know it was a hybrid, you couldn't tell except for when you don't have to fill it up.
That's right.
It's a tall crossover, it gets great fuel economy, it's actually good looking, but there's nothing about it that screams hybrid. There's not any kind of special stickers on the thing, right? It just works.
Now, I don't consider it a crossover because it doesn't have all-wheel drive.
Front-wheel drive,
yeah. Only front-wheel drive, but it does look like one. And because of that, it's a very easy vehicle to get in and out of. It's got a high roof, so our big heads can fit. And, it's a really well-done vehicle, and it's outselling just about anything else Hyundai/Kia builds that's a hybrid.
All right, we promised you the car that did not meet expectations, and each of us have picked one. For me, it was the Honda Clarity fuel cell, and the reason for that is I just love fuel cell technology. I think it's the coolest technology out there because you take hydrogen and you get out water, right?
Right.
So it is super clean in terms of at least what comes out the tailpipe, because the only thing that comes out the tailpipe is water. And if you look at it from like a practicality standpoint, it's completely unpractical because there's no hydrogen. There's 32 stations in California.
Right.
But if those things did exist, in which they will, the one thing the car could do is it could actually have a power takeoff for real, and you could potentially power your house with it. I mean, imagine a car that you bring home, you plug it in, and you power your entire house with the little fuel cell that's in the car.
Completely off the grid.
Yeah, and think about, how cool it would be if they had actually taken the water that comes out of it and had it fill up like a water bottle in the car.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not just picking on Honda here, I'm also picking on the Mirai, because both of the fuel cell cars have a basic, in my opinion, character flaw, and that is those cars should be like sexy, and they look kind of just frumpy, and they're not
over-designed.
Yeah, that should be like the car of not the future, but of the future's future.
Right. And it's unfortunate that it's such boring technology. So let's move on to design, though, is part of my choice for a vehicle that didn't meet expectations, and that's the Toyota CHR. I think it looks really cool. I really love the design, and I love the suspension layout because it can go through a corner pretty well. But it has a CVT and an incredibly underpowered engine, and more importantly, it's not all-wheel drive, even though it looks like a crossover. There were so many opportunities that were missed with this vehicle. It is my biggest disappointment this year.
drove it around a lot, and I had the one with the white roof. I didn't hate it. I thought it was pretty sexy.
I didn't say I hated it. I was just let down.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the reasons you're probably let down is because we only get one powertrain, right? In Europe, I think they get a hybrid version of it. All right, now talking about kind of concepts that have become reality, let's talk about the top 5 2018 cars that we think are going to hopefully blow our doors off.
If they come.
If they come. Well, we know the number 5 one is definitely coming because you got to videotape it with some model sitting in there. What was that all about? Anyway, it's the Chevy Corvette ZR1.
Yeah, the ZR1 is a monster. It has super high performance. It is capable of basically putting us back on the map of having one of the most powerful, one of the most driver-centric vehicles that's out there.
The next 2 cars on our list, of course, were kind of jointly developed.
Yeah.
And the number 4 car was first shown, I think, at Pebble Beach this year. It's the BMW Z4.
That's a good-looking car.
It's a good-looking car.
Yeah.
That is a good-looking car.
That's the direction.
I'd sell your kid for that car.
I would sell your kid for that. No, I wouldn't.
Fair.
I'd sell 2 of my kids for you. The Z4 is the direction I believe BMW needs to go in terms of design. I think they've lost their way a little bit with design.
Yeah.
Everything's heavy and overwrought. This is a good-looking car, and they need to build other vehicles that look like this.
And the number 3 on our list, of course, is the Toyota Supra, which was developed with the Z4. And I think Toyota really needs something. I mean, of course, they have the Toyota 86, co-developed with the BRZ, but they really need a fast and powerful 2-door sports car.
Now, we know that the 86 is an excellent vehicle in terms of a platform, great suspension setup, terrible tires, and not enough horsepower, bottom line. And they're not about to shove 300 horsepower in there and build a bigger vehicle. No, they're going to have something that's actually built with BMW, a proper sports car maker. And hopefully this Supra will be everything the old Supra was, especially the final generation.
Yeah, I agree. That final generation is red hot right now, and I could not think of a better time to come up with a new one. All right, the next one, number 2 on our list, of course, is the Lamborghini of crossovers.
Yeah, the Uranus.
No, not the Uranus. It does sound like that. The Urus.
Urus.
What could go wrong? You stick a Lamborghini engine into a crossover, make it pointy and a little bit taller, and everybody wants crossovers and SUVs, and there you have it.
Yeah, the bottom line is that they're looking at the sales that Bentley's getting, Jaguar's getting, soon Rolls-Royce. I mean, everybody's building SUVs and crossovers because for some reason you guys really want them instead of having a low-slung sports car. And Lamborghini is the second to last one to capitulate, right?
Yeah, and you know what? They built a specific factory just for it, and they had a big unveiling, and of course, guess what? They didn't invite us.
No, what a surprise.
What a surprise. Are you surprised?
I've driven a couple Lamborghinis in my time, I really have, and I actually love how nuts they used to be. They were absolutely balls crazy to the wall. Not so much anymore, and this is one of those where it's like, here, honey, take that for a drive, and it could get groceries. You don't want to get groceries with a Lamborghini. You want to make a statement with a Lamborghini, so I don't know. I don't know. This is a crazy car.
I think they're still crazy. They've become more sophisticated, right? They've kind of lost that guttural edge.
Yeah, no more manual transmissions are available in those damn things.
Right, you want a Lamborghini that will potentially kill you.
That's the best one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've gotten a little too, kind of
Audis.
Yeah, they become too refined.
Yeah.
You kind of want like a Lamborghini where it'd be like, hey Nathan, I took my Lambo for a ride. And you'd be like, what happened, Roman? And I'd be like, hey, it blew the exhaust.
Exactly what is expected.
Right off the back of it.
Yeah. I was driving down and the whole wheel came right off with the spool, and yeah, okay, that's a Lamborghini. But nowadays, no. 100,000 miles, no problem.
All right, and our number 1 car is the one that we don't know anything about.
We know nothing, just like you. I mean, there's a lot of speculation, and that is, of course, the mid-engine Corvette.
Yes, is it going to be push rod? Is it going to be powered by Cheerios? We don't
Steam engine. They're throwing wood in the back. That's why it's so long. The thing is that this vehicle, everybody's seen these things, the concepts and the prototypes and everything else running around, but we have absolutely no information on it, and it may not come out until 2021. We just don't know.
Yeah, but a mid-engine Corvette? Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
If it has the power of the ZR1, but a mid-engine layout where it's a better weight distribution, or perhaps not, I don't know. How cool is that? They've been talking about mid-engine Corvettes for years and years, going all the way back to when Roman was in high school in the 60s.
Nathan, we're getting into this era of the baddest, the coolest, the most crazy cars. I didn't think it was possible to have a car with more horsepower than a 707 horsepower Hellcat, but that's looking mild now. and you know what's coming, right? You know
Someone's going to do 1,000.
No, that's for sure. But you know those like little egg-shaped cars are coming. The autonomous Woody Allen sleeper, mobility vehicles are coming. So I say, let's celebrate horsepower. Let's celebrate the fact that we've got these cars that make no sense but are affordable.
Oh yeah.
And let's live life.
Enjoy the second golden age of cars, basically.
Before it ends, because it will end, guys.
It will end.
But not in 2018. So, as always, this is Roman.
And Nathan.
Saying thanks for watching. Remember, check out TFLcar.com for more news, views,
and real-world reviews.
And thank you guys for giving us a hell of a year and letting us drive all these cars. You're the best.
You are. Thank you.